Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we have another mock interview with Ahmad, and I hope you're going to learn a lot from this mock interview as well. Okay, Ahmad, welcome to today's interview. Before we start, I would like to clarify a few things. The first thing is that this interview is being recorded, and I need your consent for this. Second thing, I'm going to start to ask you the questions one by one. I highly encourage you to be ready for it. You better relax. You can have a glass of water be in front of you, and try to answer the questions as shortly as possible and as precisely as possible, because we have only 25 minutes in this mock interview. So it's good to cover everything that we are expecting to ask you. And at the end, if anything is left, we are going to give you a minute or two to talk about it. So, Mr. Ahmad, let's start. First of all, can you please talk about yourself very shortly?
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Abdelkader, and I live in Hargeisa, Somaliland. So currently I am a health officer working for Game International. So basically my role is to plan and implement, public health programs, so specifically, to outreach communities, those who live in rural areas. So like, for example, providing clean water, nutritious food, and also treatments, and also some consultancy for those like pregnant women, and also promote health education, like, for example, educating community or population, and also raising awareness about genital mutilation, like early marriage, and also the problems that come with it. So basically, and that's basically my role. So I have just started, I think, few months ago. As a previously I was a biology teacher, so I used to teach biology and chemistry. So thank you.
Very good. Now we are diving into the details. Can you talk about where did you start your education, and what kind of subjects are you interested in? What have you studied? Are you working in your field, and when did you graduated, and all the details, please?
Thank you. I started, my education at the Adna University in 2013 in medical laboratory. So then I graduated in 2017, October 2017. Basically, I'm not working exactly, in my field, because I'm not working as a laboratory technician. So I'm working as a, public health practitioner. And the reason is because, along, my time at the university, I felt that, my passion is not to work in an isolated, laboratory rooms. Instead, I need, to exercise my leadership skills and influence, and then to reach out to the wider community, and also to gain also networking skills, and as well as leadership skills along the way. So basically I'm currently working as a public health officer, so I have little bit changed from medical laboratory technician into the new field of public health. So, and I'm really passionate in for public health, and this is where I'm going to work next 10 or 20 or 15 years of my life, or maybe my whole life.
How many years of experience do you have totally working as a public officer or working in healthcare system?
Basically, I have over 3 years of work experience, because first I started, working, as a medical laboratory technician at, hospitals in 2017. Then, in 2018, I started to volunteer with local NGOs or organizations that are working on public health. So in order to get myself familiar with the public health system is, as well as, to connect those who are already in the field, and in order to get, experience, as well as, skills, public health skills as well. So I already have over 3 years of work experience in the field of public health or in general healthcare industry.
Excellent. And can you please tell me about during your education background, did you participate in any extracurricular activities or any internships or fellowships? And what were they, if there were any?
Yes, I engaged with several extracurricular activity when I was at the university. Specifically, I was participating in community like student to volunteer and then to go rural areas or outreach communities, those people who have very limited healthcare access. So I used to organize field trips at the university, to reach out those people and then provide free healthcare services and as well as support. And then later on, and then I became, the vice chairperson of the student union at the university. And then, I keep on working with, students and also volunteering. So even currently, I am part-time when I have, like, for example, free time, I work with a volunteer group is in order to respond to, COVID-19 as well as, droughts and other, environmental problems that are absolutely causing health problems in the public.
Excellent. That's very good. Being participating in so many extracurricular activities and also working exposes you very much to network. Can you please explain what does an effective network or networking mean to you? And can you please talk about your networks? What kind of networks do you have and what kind of activities or achievements you have got out of them? So can you give me just one example?
Thank you. I think, from my perspective, effective networking is one that really, benefits both sides, for example, or one that you can absolutely get opportunity in order to advance your career developments. Also, effective networking is one that, connects you to the other professionals that are already in the field or in the field of your interest in order to gain more experience. From my experience, in Somaliland, new graduates to get a job is not easy. So I really participated in a workshop in 2018 where I really connected to other, people who are working in public health, especially working for, local NGOs. So I identified that, workshop as, a golden opportunity for me to expose myself to the people who are working in the field, and then I started creating connections. So one particular moment was when I met a person who was working for local NGO in based in Hargeisa. So I introduced myself to him, and then kindly he introduced himself to me, and then we got to know each other. So I got his contact details because I was so eager to get, job in the field of public health, to move from medical laboratory into public health. So, and then he asked me that, he will support me along the way if I need any, and then I contacted him. So one day he shared with me, an opening opportunity or job vacancy, I could say, in civil service in Somaliland. So I applied, and then he helped me, CV writing skills, interview skills and those things. So fortunately, I was chosen for the, position. Then I really become the team leader of, one of the biggest projects in Somaliland, funded by the World Bank. So we used to headcount, all civil servants for Somaliland population or for Somaliland government, sorry. So, and even this opportunity, opening to me so many, other opportunities to network and, connected to other people, who are already leading, international and local organizations in Somaliland. So, basically, and then I developed, I could say access to many workshops, training is to even further develop my personal working skills, my communication skills, as well as my professional life. So I could say, it helped me a lot. So yeah.
Okay, you talked about being a team leader. We will come back to that later. But before that, I would like to ask you, you gave an example how your friends or your network helped you to get a job. Can you please tell me what have you given to a network or networks or your friends through these networks? Do you have an experience that you have helped your friends or networks in a way?
Yes, I also, later that year, I really, in 2017, I joined, Somaliland Laboratory Association, which is, association which is in my field, So at that time, I became a member of, the association. I used to organize, for example, meetings and like that. So I identified that, female laboratory technicians in hospitals, they get paid less, compared to their female colleagues, for example. And even though they are working in the same laboratory room, even though they have the same qualifications, even though they have the same experience and the same position, but they used to get, paid less. So I advised it, the association, to provide, for example, support and to advocate for those, female laboratory technicians in order to get similar salary or similar wages as, their male counterparts. So I, organized it, a training. So we trained over 50 female laboratory technicians, which absolutely helped them to boost their confidence. And then some of them even become, laboratory in charges or head of, sections. And this is really helped them, the entire life. And also we used to hold sessions to raise, for example, I could say to share information with, how important it is to empower women and how to, for example, practice inclusive, working environments, So that's when I exercised and then helped us, Somaliland Laboratory Association to even develop, laboratory standard procedures in order to keep the quality of laboratory tests and reports.
Excellent. So you talked about being a team leader. Let's talk about leadership. First of all, can you explain what is a good leadership? And then have you been a leader or leading a team or a group of employees, either in your work, in your profession, or in one of the volunteer works that you have had, or the NGOs that you have worked for? And how many people have you led in these groups, and what kind of achievements have you had?
Thank you very much. And my leadership, skills, I have started even when I was at the university. I used to lead, voluntary groups. So I can remember one moment when, there was a severe drought in Somaliland where, rural communities used to lose, livestock. So in that case, I organized, conducting meetings with, faculties and also students from different faculties like nurse, like public health, like laboratory from my faculty, in order to respond to that community. So we organized, a field trip across Hargeisa city, and then we used to knock doors in order to collect, some money, which we did, basically collected around $3,000. So then we contributed to, rural communities to buy water, clean water, treatments, for example, medicine, I could say, nutrition kits. So when I, for example, also, apart from my career, or in education institutions, also I'm active member of those who are campaigning against, all sorts of gender-based violence, especially female genital mutilation. So in my community, for example, Somalia or Somaliland, say, the culture is, people, all girls has to go through, this sort of torture, I could say torture. So one day I, decided, to do something about it. So I attended, a seminar about, the bad consequences of, uh, female genital mutilation. So I decided to convey this message to my family and villages and relatives. So when I came back home, I, introduced this idea to my family, but they did not welcome because it was really new to them. So I convinced them that, by showing how it's not good, maybe from religion point of view, from health point of view, that it is not appropriate, for example, girls to go through this one. So then, fortunately, uh, I convinced my family that, girls did not go that. And my current job, as a gender officer, also I work with, or reproductive health officer. Also, I work with communities in rural places. So one of my role is to educate community about the bad consequences or effects that this practice can have on girls' life, girls' health, and marriage, and also their psychology. So I really led the team, the project team. We held meetings with the team, the traditional leaders, community members, and as well as the government officials. So I could say now the community, they are very receptive to the idea, and they themselves organize to do to conduct workshops and seminars in order to inform the community of all the bad consequences of FGM. So which is absolutely a great achievement for the project.
Excellent. So what about your continuation of education in the UK? Can you please tell me which universities have you selected and which subjects and why the subject at that university or that course, I mean?
Do you mean my courses in the UK?
Yeah, exactly.
I have chosen, three universities. The first university is the King's College London, and because I have chosen King's College London, number one, it is one of the highest ranked universities in the field of medicine or medical, especially in public health. Number two, it is, it works with Somaliland government, especially the Minister of Health, to develop, excellent public health curriculums, to strengthen, the high institutions for health professionals. Also, it creates or prepares exams for students, especially those who are graduating from nurses and midwifery, in order to get a standard education where they can contribute these skills to their community and solve health problems and issues. Because Somaliland has one of the highest maternal and child mortality rates. So in order to reduce this, we need to train and teach high quality professionals who can who can address the public health problems in the country. Again, so and I'm also going to collaborate with King's College London in the future to conduct researches, as well as to work as a part-time with the universities in order to teach and also help other universities to develop excellent public health curriculums. My second choice is University of Southampton. So I would like to take public health nutrition because I need to make difference in the field of nutrition, because there is, as I said, there is a high malnutrition, there is a high mortality in child, maternal and child mortality rates. So in order to make the difference and contribute, I need to gain skills. And University of Southampton is one of the best universities in this. When I go through the modules, the courses, and also it has research, clinical research is relating to nutrition and so on. So I can expose myself to these, research skills and also curriculum, modules specifically. Okay. So my third is, University of Bradford. So the reason I've chosen University of Bradford is that there is, certain specializations that other universities do not offer, especially, public health, public policy, public health practice development. So these curriculums or these modules will help me to support hospital management, to support, improving the delivery of healthcare services in general. So thank you very much.
Welcome. That's very good. So have you got any conditional or unconditional offer from any of these universities so far?
Not, but I'm waiting, response from them.
Okay. Did you have to submit your IELTS or TOEFL number to Chevening or any of these universities, and have you prepared that or submitted that as well?
Yes, universities, they have already, in their website, there is a IELTS requirements, but, University of Southampton, also there is, Duolingo test that I can do at home online. So I'm preparing, to prepare the test. So I'm already preparing the English test, to meet the requirements, the language proficiency requirements of, the university of my choice, specifically, the Duolingo, University of Southampton.
Have you already taken the test or not?
I didn't take the test, but I'm preparing to take, upcoming month.
And is King's College London your first choice?
Yes, King's College is my first choice. So University of Southampton is my second choice, and Bradford is my third choice.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And is this master degree or these courses that you want to pursue in the UK, are they available in your country, in Somalia, or no?
They are available. So universities, they provide, public health, master's in public health. So, but the reason I have chosen, to study in the United Kingdom is, universities in Somalia, they don't have, experts, public health experts. Specifically, those who teach, they come from neighboring countries like Ethiopia, like, Kenya. So it's not easy, to gain all the required skills and knowledge, in public health in order to, change or, produce public health policies in order to make the difference in public health problems in Somalia. So that's the reason I have chosen to study my master's degree in the UK. Also, United Kingdom, universities in the United Kingdom are one of the best universities. So they have, the reputation around the globe that, after graduation, there is a high opportunity to be employed in high and big international organizations. So that's the biggest reason I have chosen to study in the United Kingdom.
Excellent. So what's the goal after you complete your master's degree in the UK? And do you want to work in a public sector or private sector? As you talked about creating policies, and of course, policies are very much related to government. And yeah, what's the goal when you return for the short-term goal?
In my immediate goal, after returning from United Kingdom to Somaliland, I am planning to work with international organizations, especially, WHO. So in order to, for example, gain the skills and to apply, to apply the skills and experience that I have gained from United Kingdom. And I also going to improve, the communities in that case, because WHO is one of the biggest, health organizations that are currently working to improve the public health system in Somaliland. After 5 years with the with the WHO, I'm going to move into public sector where I will seek, to play a role, in order to develop public health policies, and as well as, to fill the gap of lack of public health experts in Somaliland and beyond. I'm also going to be advisor, for example, or in a higher position in the public sector, like General Director of Ministry of Health of Somaliland, so that I can, support the government with the necessary, like, for example, allocation of resources, like planning national health programs, like, for example, training, in the future, public health future leaders in Somaliland.
Excellent. So can you tell me what is your vision of the public health sector or your work in the public sector, health sector? What do you want to see or what do you vision in 20 years or 25 years? What will you achieve and what will be the situation in Somaliland?
I envision that, all Somalilanders, people in Somaliland, to have, equal access to public health services, regardless of their educational background and their financial background. The reason I'm saying that because now, the rural communities, they have the least, access to healthcare services due to where they live, because they live in a very isolated places where they cannot reach to, hospital quality health services. And also I'm going to, my vision is that, Somaliland health system, for example, enables that, to establish, strong health systems that can detect, outbreaks and other healthy problems, especially, when there is a disaster, natural disasters like drought and floods, which are very obvious in Somaliland.
Very good. I see that our time is over now. Before I end this conversation or interview, I would like to ask you if you have any questions, you can ask now from the panel.
Thank you very much. I already, I'm familiar with the process, so I don't have a question for the panel. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much as well. Thank you for today. And after the final decision, the panel will get back to you with the result, hopefully very soon. Okay, everybody, and okay, Ahmad, this was the end of the mock interview. I hope you have enjoyed so far. I'm sorry that I have to end this now because I have another waiting room and the other people are waiting. I'm going to send you the feedback today or tomorrow. I'm going to contact you via your number in WhatsApp or Viber, or I'm going to email you, or we will contact again and I will explain the details and the feedback, what I feel about this interview and what are the things that you can improve. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time.
Most welcome. Okay, everybody, I hope you have enjoyed this mock interview with Ahmad. So far, it was very good because we have very little time, like 30 minutes. We had to go very fast because the actual interview, as I have heard, is also very limited time and there are many questions. And I try to make each interview different so that we learn something along the way. Thank you very much. I end this here. If you have liked our interview, please like it, share it, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you want to participate in MOOC interviews, click on the link, booking link in the description below, and you can book your interview. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.